G'day, ZiggyD here, and welcome back for part 8 of my Path of Exile open beta Blood Magic Bow Duellist playthrough. Whew, that's a bit of a mouthful. It's actually day 2 here now, and my original plan was only to record for the first day because I was planning on moving back into my house, and hopefully the internet was set up there by then, but I got off the phone with my ISP yesterday afternoon and found out that the internet's not actually been hooked up for a whole nother week, so I've decided to stay here and keep recording for you guys for a while longer, so that means I can keep putting out some content, which I really don't want to have a week of not being able to make anything new or upload anything else, so I'm going to keep going with this one. Now, just at the end of the last episode, we sort of came into Act 2 and did some organising in town. I haven't really done too much since then, and now I'm going to be progressing just through the through either side of Act 2's areas, so grabbing the waypoint over here on the east, and then heading over to the west and probably doing the side quest there to open the gate. So let's just level up these gems, and I'll pretty much be leveling up everything for now. There'll come a point where I'll have to stop leveling up a few of my gems like Fire Arrow and Split Arrow especially. I think around level 10 I'll stop leveling Split Arrow, because at level 10 it gets an additional projectile. But it starts really increasing in cost from that point onwards, so since I won't have Blood Magic for a while, and I won't have much mana, like I'm not going to be stacking much mana because that's really not going to help me in the long run, I'll have to stop leveling that just to avoid high mana costs there. So I think level 10 is probably a good cutoff point for that. So I don't really need to do too much farming in here, but I'll just sort of kill off these packs a little bit, see how we go. Grab these tribal chests, just count as normal chests, often lots of currency items and good gear from those, so they're always good to grab. So I've just reached the entrance of the cave, and I was sort of tossing up whether I'd actually be going in here on this initial run past, and I don't think there's anything too challenging in here for a ranged build, and I have a fair bit of life at this point in the game, so I'm not too concerned with dying in here at all. So I'm going to go through to the cave and kill the white beast in there, the giant polar bear creature thing, and get the reward from that, so that way I don't have to come back to this zone a little later on. Now, just a little bit of Path of Exile news, actually. Some numbers have come in from the open beta day, basically. A couple of hours ago, Grinding Gear tweeted out on their official Twitter that they had 55,000 simultaneous players, which is quite amazing, and they expect it to pick up a little bit more as well as we sort of move back into peak times. Now, to put this in perspective, 55,000 players is how many players Diablo 3 has had in sort of recent times and things like that. Another interesting figure that I've sort of noticed myself was that on Twitch TV, Path of Exile has been averaging around 9,000 viewers, and compared to Diablo's around 2,000, so pretty amazing stuff. Like, it is a closed beta launch day, but it's also a much smaller game and still an indie title, so to be able to have competitive numbers even for a while this early on in closed beta is pretty impressive. So there is a serious amount of monkeys there. See how I sort of got stun locked just there as a few of them hit me at once. So whoa, okay, let's get out of here. So in an earlier episode I was talking about how they've changed the mob density so that every now and then you'll come across a really large pack. This is obviously that happening there. That's pretty exciting. They said it was to increase like the tension in the game, and that was a pretty tense moment there as I sort of ran into a massive pack of spiders whilst being chased by a massive pack of monkeys. So that was pretty cool. But as long as I don't get surrounded by those fellas, I should be alright. Whoa, massive pack of elite monkeys here. I thought I'd also mention that I've been using Poison Arrow a fair bit to level with, because when mob packs get sort of above the amount of arrows that Split Arrow puts out at the moment, since I don't have any support gems for Split Arrow at the moment, the Poison Cloud is actually a better AoE for clearing out those sorts of packs. So that's pretty handy to know if you're planning on leveling a build like this, that you don't have to force yourself into using a skill that you're going to use later just because you're going to use it later. Like, it's fine to not use it so much as you level, and then once it comes into its own a little bit later, once you get the support gems you need, you can start using it. So I don't know where the bear boss from here has gone. Maybe they've changed something here in open beta, because there was a small chance of a chest appearing here. I don't think it was 100% chance. I believe the only 100% chance chest now was in the thicket with the monkeys in later on in this act. So interesting that a chest has spawned, but there's no great white bear, so that's interesting. Well, at least we get this. Ooh, an orb of chance, very nice. I've actually found quite a few of those now. Just got some rares, some more currency, and just a few magics. Nothing really too special in there. And just an update on my passive skill tree. I've sort of been tossing up whether I should head up towards here and get life first, or whether I should head over here. Now what I'm getting over here is obviously there's blood magic there, but I'm not going to go straight for that, so I'll grab this passive point for now, and I'm going to head up and grab blood drinker just to increase my damage leeching, and then also lava lash, so I'm going to head up here and get lava lash, which is 30% increased fire damage, which is going to really increase my my single target with fire aura, and later on once I get the anger aura and replace hatred with anger, it's going to increase my overall damage as well. So I think they're worth sort of just grabbing, and then I'll be set up to grab blood magic pretty quickly later on once I get enough life passives for that. Alright, so I just checked the quest log, and it looks like the Great White Beast is still in here, and just that chest was just at an opposite end, so I'm going to finish clearing out here and find where that little mini boss is there. So I don't know what's happened with that, because I don't seem to recall a chest appearing like that in a separate zone to the boss. So I don't know if they've changed the randomness of the layout of this particular zone, but that's an interesting addition. It means that it's certainly worth clearing out this area and checking each end of the zone for that chest, because it's definitely worth trying to grab the large chest if you can. Alright, so here's the Great White Beast. Now, he does a lot of damage in melee range, but he's not particularly hard to deal with. However, it is a good example of why all melee builds at this current point in the game should have some sort of ranged attack, whether it's lightning strike or whether it's something with a bit of AoE radius like sweep that they can sort of kite with while staying out of melee range, because he does do a lot of damage even if you have a lot of life, but he's easy to kite, so as long as you have a little bit of ranged, then you can avoid most of that damage and thereby avoid most of that risk. So that's just an important tactic for hardcore especially, but just for Path of Exile in general. Oh, and it looks like we've got a very nice pair of rare gloves from the Great White Beast kill as well. So it's got some damage on it, a little bit of mana, and 35 maximum life, which is quite good, and a little bit of fire resist, not bad. The current gloves are quite good with fire damage and life leech, but only 9 energy shield. I really want to start moving over to armor, so this has got a bit of armor and energy shield on it, so we'll keep that aside and we'll use those as soon as we're level 19. So once you kill the Great White Beast, don't go back to town, just there's an exit right behind him, so click on that and it'll take you back to the old fields and put you out sort of somewhere random in there, and then you can keep going to get the waypoint in the next zone. That'll sort of just save you a bit of time in the long run. Alright, so right now I'm fighting this mini boss here, Nice. Now they've added in a rolling charge attack for these stone golem things, which you do need to be careful of, because they can pretty much roll at you from off screen, and that does a fair bit of damage. This guy has very high resistances and a lot of life, so if you feel like skipping over him and not wasting time on that, and you're trying to level quite quickly, then it's probably worth just skipping him. Now I'm just gonna kill him to try and get a bit of extra loot, and lucky I evaded that because he just rolled right over the top of me. But yeah, as you can see, he's got a lot of health there. Alright, so I've just kept following the road and eventually hit the entrance to the crossroads. Now, I'll tell you about finding the waypoint in this area, because you really don't want to miss it, because it is like a central location for pretty much all of the quests in this side of the map, so it's definitely something you want to try and grab. I'll just skip over these guys just to show you where it is. Just keep following the road up. You can veer off either way, but stick to it so that you will find the waypoint easily. And we'll just keep moving through here. Now that's just a little offshoot, that's not what we're looking for. And here we go. So you've got this this sort of fork in the road where it splits off into 4 directions. The waypoint will be in one of these corners of the road, so either up here, either over here, or down here. So make sure you click on that and don't miss that one. And pretty much once you get that, you can actually go back to town, because all of these side zones here are higher leveled zones, and you're better off heading off to the west and doing a couple of zones in the west before you go off and do those side quests there. So this is a good point to go back to town. It also lets you get the quest reward for killing the Great White Beast, so we'll go do that. Alright, so for this quest reward you get a choice of rare belts, and these can be pretty dodgy at times, but it looks like this rare leather belt here could have a fair bit of potential. We've got a magic one there that's okay for what we've had, but it's really time for an upgrade, so I'm definitely going to be grabbing that. The other good option if you're playing this sort of build is to get that strength one there, because the strength's also going to give you a bit of life there, especially if the life roll in that leather belt is quite low. So we'll go ahead and identify that and see if that has turned out any good. A minuscule amount of energy shield, stun duration, Flask. The Flask recovery is good, and reflect. That's a pretty terrible bunch of rolls on that build there, but it's still a bit better than our current one, so we might as well go ahead and get that one there. Alright, so something I really want to start doing at this point in the game is really looking towards upgrading my flasks a bit, because they're quite important for staying alive. Now, I've got these large life flasks, but level 18, which is the next level, lets you get these greater ones. So if I had some Scrolls of Wisdom right now, I'd buy probably 3 of these and roll the magic using these Transmutation Orbs, which I have quite a few of. But since I don't have any Scrolls of Wisdom at the moment, I'm sort of just going to have to hold out on those for now. I could roll these large life flasks, but since the health recovery difference between greater and large is so massive, it's almost double, it's probably not worth rolling these ones and just waiting until I can get some Scrolls of Wisdom. Or maybe I can possibly trade something for some Scrolls of Wisdom. Let's see what I can afford to trade. I thought you guys might be interested in seeing this side of it as well, because this, how you organise your character and how you upgrade them and manage the resources that you have available to, is also a pretty important part of it, and something that I don't think gets shown very much. So we have some Ant Armour and scraps, Blacksmith Whetstone. We have some chromatics. I'm going to go ahead and trade a chromatic and try and get some Identify Scrolls for that. So let's go ahead and sell this to Ina. Oh, that only gives us a scrap. Okay, some of the things only seem to give scraps, but some of them definitely give actual currency. Let's go ahead and get rid of a Whetstone. I probably won't need to use that soon. There we go. So we've got 4 Identified Scrolls for the Whetstone. So maybe it's just the quality bonus ones that give you the scrolls. Maybe that's what I usually trade for those. So that's good though, because the chromatics are worth a bit more than those quality bonuses anyway. So we've got 4 scrolls now, which is enough to buy just one of these flasks. So we'll go ahead and get that. And we will roll this flask here in anticipation for the next level. I'm not going to upgrade the flask quality at the moment like that. It's not really worth it until you start getting the higher tier flasks. So we got reduced amount recovery, instant recovery on low life, additional elemental resistances. That is a fantastic flask. That is insane. That's exactly what we want. So that's a very low reduced amount recovered roll, which is good because you don't want it to be too reduced. So it's still healing 225, which is a good whack of our health there. Instant recovery on low life is it's your panic button flask. In hardcore especially, you want some of these flasks. You want at least one of these to be able to hit when you're in danger. And having elemental resistances on top of that, so when you're in danger you're hitting this and you're getting the instant life recovery, and then also the elemental resistances to stop you from getting even more hurt. That's just a perfect fast set. So what I'll be doing is I'll be putting this in my center one here, which I have bound to space because space is nice and easy to hit. It's my real panic button. It's the one I had bound for Diablo 3 as potions. So I'm sort of used to hitting that in an emergency when I'm about to die as the press the spacebar button. So that's an excellent roll for that. I'm very happy with that. In case you couldn't tell. Alright, so I'm going to cut that particular episode off here. I'll probably see you guys in the next episode for the journey westwards through the Act 2 there, and we'll go ahead and do some of those side quests over there. That's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.